Welcome back to the Keep Indiana Learning surprise, unexpected learning over the last 2 years to celebrate Keep Indiana Learning's second birthday. I'm Lena Darnay. I am on staff here at Keep Indiana Learning, and I am so thrilled to welcome Nadine Gilkison, a good friend from the beginning of Keep Indiana Learning. I think she's an OG KINL contributor from back when we were just a little Facebook group. 3 days after remote teaching implementation on March 16th, we were born out of necessity. And now we're talking about all those fun things we've learned over the last 2 years that'll really stick around as we go forward. Nadine, thanks for being here.
Oh, no problem. I'm excited to share some reinventing uses for screencasts today.
I can't wait to hear these. So I'll be over here taking notes. Take it away.
All right. So as I said, we're going to be talking about some different uses for screencasts that may have come about. Just a little heads up about me. I am the District Technology Integration Supervisor in Franklin Township. I'm also the leader of the Indiana Google Educator Group and Google Innovator, and also an Indiana Connected Board member. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I share everything that I create, and I have my handle there at the bottom. So you are probably already familiar with Screencast Options, but I thought it would be a good thing for us to go ahead and kind of go over a few of them. Definitely people have favorites. I can tell you that it started out that our teachers were really loving Screencastify. And during the year, it really morphed into using Loom, that product. And, just out of necessity of what they were wanting to use the screencast for. But you may not be familiar that there are some of these other screencast options out there. And if you haven't taken a look at them, please take some time to go back and take a look at them again. Flipgrid has always had a screencast capability. They've actually updated the option whenever you want to do screencasting, and that it doesn't have to be attached to a grid. So it doesn't have to be attached to an assignment or anything like that. You can actually just directly tap into that camera and do up to 10 minutes of screencasting. Also, some of the features within Flipgrid that have really been enhanced is that they've got, different filters. They've got, where you can have a whiteboard and different options. If your school district uses Chromebooks, don't forget that now your Chromebooks have the ability to do screen recording on them. I know in our district, our teachers have Chromebooks. And again, you can use one of those tools, but you can also natively use the Chromebook itself. If your district uses Canvas, don't forget that there is a Canvas video recorder already embedded inside of Canvas. If you're looking for something that's high end and refined for your screencasting, take a look at Camtasia. I use Camtasia a lot. Basically, if it's a beginner, I tell them to use the other options, but Camtasia is like the Mac Daddy tool. And when I say that, it's that if you're someone who's heavily using screencasting for a lot of your items, the difference is that Camtasia is going to give you that polished product, and the number of pixels is really high, so you're not going to be pixelated at all. So I just wanted to kind of review over some different screencast options. So let's talk about the first one. Some of the ways that I've noticed that people have been able to use screencasting since the pandemic. The biggest one has been tech support. So I want you to think about this. And basically, a lot of school districts have the option where you fill out a ticket and you're describing what's going on with your problem in tech. I had teachers that were reaching out to me, asking me questions about Canvas, asking me things about Google, and they were trying to type it out. And I quickly said, wait a minute, we need to tap into this ability that, hey, everybody knows how to do screencasting now. And so before the pandemic, it would be, oh, this is what's easier for you. I remember distinctly that I would say to a teacher, hey, how about you record a screencast of that and send it to me? And they were like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. I don't know if I even really know how to do that. And that has been a game changer now because literally everyone knows how to do it. And so when I ask them that, and I'll say, why don't you just record a video and send that to me? Way easier to communicate that process if they have a question about tech. And, just trying to type it out versus being able to tell somebody in that fashion. And I've actually even talked to our IT support, and they've actually integrated an option for Loom to be inside of that. Just to touch on that one more item, with Loom, it also has an integration with Gmail. And so when you're responding back to someone, not even if it's just tech support, but if you want to make sure that they understand what you're communicating, think about using that integration that is already inside of Gmail or another platform. So the second way that you can reinvent that use of Screencast is Subplants. I've had many teachers tell me that they have utilized their Screencasts in that fashion. So we all know that having subs is a challenge for every district. I don't care where you teach and in the nation. And a lot of times you may have it planned out who's going to sub in your classroom, and it changes 2 or 3 times by the time it becomes the day of that moment. And so consider making a screencast of you going over what's expected for the day, and the sub that comes in can actually hit play, and you could record something for your class to give them an overview of what they're going to be covering that day. And tapping into, the fact that the teacher that comes in might not be the person that's the best qualified to deliver that instruction as what you were wanting. And so because of those last minute changes, so the fact that you can then provide a screencast of your lesson, the sub or the person that's in the room can actually go around and support students while students are watching that video. Okay. Repurpose. I've really addressed this heavily in our district, but I want to make sure that everyone understands the way that you can use this. So during the pandemic, a lot of us were recording screencasts, but then honestly thinking about, well, I'm done with that. What do I really need to use that for anymore? Because I have students live. What I've really communicated to our teachers is, hey, that's not a one and done. Let's think about different ways that we can repurpose that screencast that you already created. So at our secondary level, our teachers are using Canvas. And what I've worked with our teachers on is when they are creating a module, not only are they having the current content, but I said also add like a link to a video that you may have used last year. So it doesn't matter if they're on quarantine or if they're just plain absent and the student needs to access it, or maybe the student needs it because they need to have it retaught to them again. Having that capability of having that there at their fingertips, it's just one click away, has been very beneficial. And I've had several teachers comment to me, and they've talked about how they've utilized that. One example that I wanted to point out, so in our district, we had a group of online teachers last year, and this example that you're seeing are kindergarten teachers. So my entire group of online kindergarten teachers that were throughout the district, they knew, again, that they would want to repurpose not only the lesson, but the screencasts that are inside of those lessons. They got together as a group and they said, how could we make this easy for any teacher in the district that teaches kindergarten to be able to help them out? So they, on their own, they created this Google Sheet. And inside of the Google Sheet, it's actually broken down by month. And they've even got, specific dates, which obviously it's going to adjust each year. But this has been amazing for our teachers to utilize this year because they can quickly go to whatever it is that they need. And I want to also emphasize the fact that it's not just the teachers that are using that. On the next slide, our district has done a lot with Google Sites and taking the screencasts that we had from those previous years and then putting them inside of Google Sites that, again, all teachers can access. And again, it could be that you have a sub, it could be that you have someone out on quarantine, it could be, if a student is absent. Also thinking about brand new teachers. And brand new teachers may want to see some modeling of what a lesson could look like. And now they have this tapped in resource that they can use, those screencasts as well. And so we've been able to use those pretty extensively in our district. As I said earlier, it's not just the teachers that are using it, like the gen ed teacher. I've had a lot of conversation with our SPED, our special education teachers, and our EL teachers. And during those times of the day when there might be a student that has an IEP or a ILP, and they need to go back to their content and take a look at how can we help that student, they have told us numerous times this year, because if you're a SPED teacher, if you're an EL teacher, it's hard because you're trying to navigate multiple grade levels, multiple content. And if a student needs help with something specifically, they said that they have used these screencasts to help them so that they're better able to support those students. So that could be through interventions at the same time. So if you haven't thought about using it in that fashion, I wanted to make sure that you knew that that was a possibility. And the fourth option that I want you to think of is outside of work. Obviously, I've given you some great ways to use screencasts, inside of what you're doing with teaching. But I want you to stop and think that during the pandemic, it wasn't just people in your workforce that learned how to do screencasting and using those tools. It was a wide gamut of your family and friends that were using that. And so think about how you can tap into that. I know that I've seen my husband utilizing screencasting a whole lot more whenever he has to do trainings for his his sales force that he's helping to manage. I know that whenever we've done get-togethers with family and so on, it's not just that we know how to use a platform like Google Meet or Zoom. It's also that we have that ability that we know how to use these screencasting tools, and we can tap into that knowledge and use it outside of work. So in a nutshell, there's lots of different ways that you guys can use this tool. I just want to make sure that people are thinking about it outside of the typical use and using it in the moment. So hopefully these little tips have given you a chance to take a look at all of that. I appreciate getting to talk to you guys today, and let me know if you have any other questions and reach out.
Oh, this was so fun, Nadine. I was loving your ideas of making it easier for other people to understand your issues or problems by doing a quick Loom, sending it in Gmail. I know so many times I could try to explain what I'm seeing on screen, but the ability to just capture it now is so much more a part of our normal operating understandings of technology. That's really great.
Yeah, and I think tapping into knowing that I don't have to train somebody. It's that they're totally comfortable with it, and that's definitely changed since the pandemic.
Have you found that a lot of teachers really are leveling up in their technology skills now? That's kind of been an unexpected boost.
Yes. I mean, they're definitely, I think their concept of thinking that, ahead of time, I was scared to try something like that. And now I'm ready. I know that I can do it, especially with the ability of knowing that they don't have to have their face on there. I think everyone is terrified to have their face. And I'm like, you do realize there's an option that you don't have to. And now they're a lot more comfortable with being able to use that technology.
Well, and I think it's really something special to say that we have learned so much. We talk a lot about how, kids are behind, or our pacing guides are behind, or these things but we've actually learned a lot. And so by celebrating some of our new ways of engaging our own technology knowledge along with our kids, I think the kids making screencasts is also really powerful.
Yes. And I definitely see that teachers are using that ability of having students create screencasts a lot more than what we had seen in the past.
And can we just celebrate that Chromebooks do the screencasting now so
Yes,
easily? Like,
I
thank
know.
you.
Isn't that option? That option is awesome. I
It
know.
really is great. Well, it's been great having you, Nadine. Thank you so much. We love hearing from you. Keep Indiana Learning really appreciates the work that you've done with us. And we know we'll see you soon at our virtually different summer conference. So make sure if you're watching, go to keepindianalearning.org, click on summer conference and register. Only $25, 2 days full of virtual, but virtually different learning. Lots of exciting things going on. And take a takeaway from this session, tweet it, share it on Facebook, share it on TikTok. KINL turns 2 and too good to miss are our hashtags. We're giving away some really awesome birthday presents to everyone out there watching. Thanks again, Nadine. We'll see you again soon.
All right. Thanks.